A very good afternoon and welcome to NTV at 1. My name is Ken Mijungu. We are live from the Nation Center. We're also live from Parliament, live from Gigiri and live from the courts. But first, let's begin from Parliament buildings where the Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru is currently before Senate County Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Let's listen in.
Quickly read your finding. Statement of budget execution on page 5.
Statement of budget execution. The financial statements presented for audit review do not include a statement of budget execution by programs and sub-programs as presented by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. No satisfactory explanation has been provided for this omission.
Governor?
The response is the amended financial statement, which was presented on 8th January 2019, included this statement of budget execution. At that time, if I could respond from on top of my head, they had not completely implemented the plan to budget system, but now they have. So they presented as of 8th January 2019.
Now, I have a problem with this from both ends. First of all, Auditor General, you say it has not been attached, but it is attached. If you look at page 17 of the financial statements from the county, budget execution by programs and sub-programs, in brackets, annexed. Auditor, are we on the same page? In brackets, annexed. And if you go to the last 5 pages of the financial statements, you've got a budget execution schedule. So why were we querying the non-availability of the budget execution by programs and programs? Why yet it is attached? What was the issue here, Auditor? Because sometimes you also have to be fair to the county by understanding what the issue was. I can clearly see it is annexed, but you're saying it was not annexed.
Thank you, Chair. The report was actually querying the contents, and because if you look at the contents, they do not actually relate to the county. So the audit report actually disowns the attachment.
What are the contents that do not relate to the county?
Chair, there are several items that do not relate to the counties. For example, on page 2, there is the issue of State House Affairs, leadership and coordination of MDS, what else? Government, there is nothing there. Then East African Affairs and
just state the amounts involved for us to measure materiality.
State House Affairs, there is an amount of 8.4 million. There is also another amount of 6.3 million. There is also another amount of 1.8 million. There is also 16.61 for 16.6 million, 5.2 million, and that 8.3 million. Then
Right, it looks as though the Kirinyaga expenditure also has items that are not related to their expenditure, like State House Affair, East Africa, and all that. Seth Olale, rather, I'm told it's Kennedy Murede who's reporting from Parliament. He will be breaking down that for us, the reason why those are appearing in the audit queries. Let's move on now and to the court's Chief Magistrate Francis Ndai is expected to give a bail ruling of 16 fake gold suspects, among them Jared Otieno. The determination is set for 2:30 p.m. upon presentation and verification of the suspects' probation reports. Seth Olale has been covering the fake gold scandal, and he now joins us live with a live report from Milimani Lokot. Seth, this ruling was expected in the morning, but we are told it's coming up at 2:30. What is the reason for this delay?
Thank you, Ken Mijungu. Yes, we're getting us live from the Milimani Lokots. Actually, it's a rather cold afternoon here. But like you mentioned, yes, Jared Otieno is the first accused in this particular case. And I'll tell you the reason why you actually are inquiring that why that ruling did not happen in the morning is simply because, Ken Mijungu, that the probation officer was supposed to do a probation report in order for the judge to, just peruse through it, verify it, and give a ruling in regards to the probation report. According to the probation officer who appeared in court this morning, Ken, he said that the report is not ready, or rather the reports for the 16 suspects are not just ready, and he stated because he's had challenges contacting some of the accused persons, their affiliates, or rather even their accomplices in terms of even family or where they work and so on, because some of the suspects in this particular case, remember, we have about 3 foreigners among the 16 suspects, and so according to the probation officer, he was not able to get contacts of the suspects from various nations. We're talking about suspects from Chad as well as from the Democratic Republic of Congo. But even in Kenya, there's local suspects, actually the Kenyans implicated in this particular case. He said that some of them were, rather, there was a bit of confusion in terms of getting correspondence between the suspects and their affiliates. We're talking about family members, we're talking about neighbors, we're talking about colleagues, and we're talking about workmates. And rather, if they were students, some of them actually are students, and so we're talking about even respondents from various institutions that these particular suspects say they usually go to. And so we expect the probation officer to give at least some lead, or rather just some headway in regards to where he has reached and how many reports he's been able to do since last week. Remember that the suspects in this particular case have been in police custody for approximately 2 weeks since actually the police raided that house in Kaputei Garden, Kileleshwa in Nairobi County, where they found about 15 suspects that they suspect that they were engaging in fake gold dealings. And remember that they were arraigned in court, they were charged, and the court ordered that they be detained for 5 more days in order for their probation bail reports to be out. But that did not happen this morning because simply the probation officer said, or rather told the court, that the reports were not ready, and he said that some of the reports will be ready by 2 p.m. and so we expect Chief Magistrate Francis Ndai to just examine and verify those particular reports in order to give a ruling whether Jared Otieno and his co-accused will be released on bail or not. We're just waiting for that decisive moment at 2:30 p.m. here at the Milimani Lokots, Ken.
Seth Olale with a live report from Milimani Lokots. Thank you very much. We wait for that ruling at 2:30 p.m. President Uhuru Kenyatta has officially launched the first ever United Nations Habitat General Assembly at the UN offices right here in Nairobi. The historic forum comes as estimates projects that 7% of the world's population will be living in cities by 2050. Alex Mwangi now joins us live from Gigiri with a brief on what the assembly hopes to achieve at the Nairobi meeting. And Alex, President Uhuru Kenyatta appeared this morning, but we know he's appearing again on Wednesday, and he called for a lot of collaborations. Tell us more.
Yes, Ken Mijungu, right from here at the United Nations headquarters in Gigiri, and as you've said, there is what President Uhuru has said, including something else that he has said, is that he's going to have the government add the budget of the UN Habitat, and this comes as the world faces the challenge of providing sufficient and adequate housing for people and the populations in the world. Just to give you some statistics from what has been mentioned at this conference so far, is that we have 70% of the world population projected to live in cities by the year 2050. So that number is going up, is continuing to increase. And then, Ken, one other thing that we've been told is that 1 in 3 houses in urban areas is in a slum area, meaning that there's a challenge for decent housing. And Kenya as a country is facing this challenge. We know that the president has set in place the affordable housing program, and we are looking to see whether this is going to be something that is going to help Kenyans get more decent houses, given the challenge that is there, that we have a demand of about 200,000, but a supply of even maybe less than 50,000 per annum. So this is something that is global. It's a big challenge, Ken. And one other thing that has been said, that Uhuru Kenyatta said, is that societies are ill-prepared to tackle the challenge of decent housing in the world. This is something that is common in many developing countries. But there are other factors that have come out from this, the conversation about urban housing here at the UN, which are very interesting, including the idea of, for example, we've been told of a city in Indonesia where the former mayor who was there in 2013 to 2018, he talked about including, for example, creating social infrastructure that makes people interact more. For him, it's more about people being happy, and these are plans that governments are making in order to make people live more comfortably. So it's not just a matter of creating decent housing. There's also the social aspect where young people can interact with older people, where people can access medical facilities from the vicinity and not in far off places. Those are some of the things that have been discussed. And just maybe for just half a minute to just give you an example of what is behind me here, we have on this space, we have a house that is a solar powered smart home right here at the foyer of the UN Gigiri complex, and this is a house that uses solar power, and it is just in all this conversation about making building materials cheaper, but also about the environment, tackling the environmental challenge of carbon emissions and lowering carbon emissions. So this is a low-cost house, and it has solar power, and even next to it is also an electric car which is being charged by the solar panels. That is part of what is happening here at the United Nations conference. This conference goes on from today on the 27th up to the 31st of May. And we are going to keep you updated on what is discussed at this historic forum. We expect some deliberations to be made in terms of plans and the strategic plan for the UN Habitat. Those are some of the details that we're going to be giving you in subsequent bulletins, as well as in the subsequent days ahead. Back to you, Ken.
Alex Mwangi, very comprehensive indeed, and Alex is still covering that for us. He'll have a live report throughout the week because this conference lasts 5 days. Thanks, Alex, from Gigiri. Now, moving on. 4 pilgrims lost their lives after a matatu rammed into a group of pedestrians heading to Namugongo in Uganda. NTV's Zacchaeus Masame has been following this story for us, and he now joins us live from Busia, where some of the injured pilgrims have been admitted. And Zacchaeus, we spoke earlier, you were with one of the families for the departed. It's really a sad state there, but a lot of information is still being withheld from the public. Perhaps you tell us what you know about this accident so far.
Thank you very much, Ken. We are coming to you live from here at the Busia County Referral Hospital. It is unfortunate that had to happen to the pilgrims who are heading to Namugongo. And just to maybe dig deep into this issue, we are privileged to be joined by one of the survivors, that is Kelvin Akila, who has been brought here alongside 5 others from Uganda, those who survived from that accident. And therefore, we are going to be joined by Kelvin, who is going to tell us maybe exactly what happened, and then that accident led to the death of 4 Kenyans. Kelvin, you are live on NTV. Just briefly tell us what happened on that time.
Kwa majina naitwa Kevin Akila. Tulikuwa wahijaji, tulikuwa tumetoka Kenya, Bungoma Diocese, tukielekea Uganda kule Namugongo. So jana asubuhi mapema tulilala Iganga, tukatoka Iganga tukielekea Jinja. Kama baada ya kutembea kama 2 hours katikati ya Iganga na Jinja Road, hapo ndio Nissan ilitoka mbele yetu sasa kuna yule jamaa wetu alikuwa anajaribu kuambia wa reduce speed, alikuwa na torch na reflector, so alijaribu kumwambia lakini hakufua dafu. Akamhepa huyo, na kwa kuhepa huyo mwenye alikuwa anapunguza speed akaingia kwa sisi wenye tulikuwa katikati. Hapo ndio watatu wawili walikufa papo hapo, alafu watu kama 7 hivi tukajeruhiwa, tukakimbizwa katika Iganga Hospital.
Okay. Pole sana, labda that is the thing, and that is the situation. That is one of the survivors who was just doing that. Maybe to just get a brief also, Ken, the medic here, the nursing judge, so that he can tell us exactly what is happening here.
I'm Violet Omoto, the nurse manager, Busia County Hospital. So far we received 5 people from Uganda who had been involved in the accident. 3 had minor injuries. They were treated and they were discharged. So far we have remained with 2, 1 man and 1 woman, who are undergoing treatment and they are doing well. They are in good condition, and we are managing them on the ground. We also received 4 bodies. All were female. 2 were taken to Bungoma, and we are still having 2 that belong to Busia County.
Thank you so much, Ken. So that is the situation here. We are keeping an eye on how things will be unfolding. We'll be updating you in our subsequent bulletin. Back to you in studio.
Right, Zacchaeus, thank you for your live report. Now, let's go to the county of Mombasa, where the county government and the Kenya Red Cross are currently visiting various places within Mombasa County that had been affected by flooding following the heavy downpour. Now, the downpour has misplaced families after their houses got submerged in the flood waters. And our coast-based reporter, Kevin Mutai, now joins us with the latest. Kevin, good afternoon. Good to see you. We spoke earlier, but also Mombasa now, there is an attempt to ensure that even if there will be more flooding, at least it will be mitigated. What's happening?
Well, good morning, good afternoon to you, Ken. We are live from Mombasa, and as you can see, it is a sunny, sunny afternoon in what I can call it as a favorable weather to many here in Mombasa after days of heavy downpour. Remember that the rains that have been pouring in the coastal region affected all the counties within the coastal region, but here in Mombasa exactly, we had cases whereby in some places such as Bamburi and Likoni, some of the families that have been affected because their houses had been submerged in the water. And today we received calls from the officials from the county government and also those from the Kenya Red Cross trying to access some of these areas and to help those people who have been affected by the flood waters after their houses got submerged. Remember also yesterday we experienced another incident in Mikindani where a section of the road collapsed following the heavy downpour. And of course, as you mentioned, Ken, we spoke earlier this morning and we were at a place called Kashani in Kisumu constituency where a woman, a 40-year-old woman died after a pit latrine collapsed. The woman, we were told, she was there to answer to the call of nature, and the incident occurred in what the officials from the county government attribute to that particular structure did not, or rather those people behind the construction of that particular structure did not follow the proper guidelines and procedures, and it is something that has raised a lot of concerns. Remembering that, considering that this particular time is raining, and officials from the county are sensitizing members of the public to, of course, to be cautious of the ongoing rains, and of course to avoid such kind of incidences happening. Of course, we also passed by Mtuapa, whereby there was ongoing construction of a particular property there with the county government. Kingi himself, that is Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi, arrived at that particular place and warned land grabbers in that particular area, saying that they are taking advantage of the illiterate members of the public, some of them who have no proper documents of their properties, and they have been facing various challenges when it comes to matters of grabbing land. And the county government warned that there is no private developer who will be given permits to construct any property at all on a stolen or rather on a grabbed parcel of land. These are stories that we're still following up from the coastal city of Mombasa. Remember, it has been raining, and we will be updating our viewers on what will be happening on our subsequent bulletins. Back to you, Ken.
Thanks, Kevin Mutai, very much. Let's come back to the capital now. And Nairobi County Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko has made good his threat to demolish business premises belonging to a man who is claimed to have been behind the demolition of a church and a school on Saturday. Business owners at what was the former Siemens on Kenyatta Avenue in Nairobi lost their property after workers from the county demolished their premises. We're now joined by Sharon Baranga, who is at the premises, and she joins us on the phone. Sharon, is this really happening?
Yes, Ken, indeed it has been a very bad day or a start for the week for the business people who are operating their businesses at this premise, which is at what was the former Siemens along the Kenyatta Avenue. The business people say that they woke up only to find that some of the county workers were destroying their premises, and some were called by their employees, who informed them that the premises was being demolished. The genesis of today's demolition is traced back to what happened on Saturday, where hired groups descended on a church and a school at Buruburu Phase 5, destroying it. They were saying that the land had been grabbed. Now, it is on that day that the county governor of Nairobi threatened the person behind the demolition of the church and the school, saying that he is going also to destroy one of his car washes along the CBD, and it is he made good his threat. It has happened on this day. Early in the morning, a caterpillar made its way to the premises and destroyed the structures. Now, the business people say they are at a loss because they were not notified of an impending demolition, having paid all the rent that they were expected to pay, and now they have nowhere to operate from. Ken?
All right, Sharon Baranga, indeed, pictures there of the demolition. Thank you very much. And the county government also claimed that there was no authorization to put up that structure at that disputed property, which has a long-running court battle also. Let's move on now and go to Kisumu, where police are investigating an incident in which a lifeless body of a boda rider was found lying in a pool of blood with his motorbike next to him along the busy Kisumu-Busia highway. The incident caused a major traffic snarl-up. According to members of the public, the victim, who operates boda in Bandani near the Kisumu International Airport, was knocked down by a speeding matatu, killing him on the spot. Now, today's incident brings a total of 5 deaths reported in less than 2 months at the same spot. They are now calling for special prayers to be conducted at that spot, which is now considered a black spot. The body was taken to the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary.
Alikuwa anajaribu kuvuka hii pavement kuingia kwa barabara ndio ashike hii nini njia ya kwenda town kuweka petrol pale. Sasa venye hiyo harakati ya kuvuka ndio aka lose control, na kuna gari ilikuwa inakuja speed sana. Sasa hiyo gari ndio imemgonga na akakufa instantly.
Kuanzia bright light hadi hapa penye tuko na wewe sasa hivi watu wamekufa wengi. Huyu nikimwangalia huyu mwenzetu wa pikipiki ni kama mtu wa 5. Mtu wa kwanza akifika pale kuanzia bright light, msichana mmoja alifariki, gari iligonga yeye pale akapasuka kichwa. Ubongo ikatoka kama tulivyomwona huyu mwenzetu. Wa pili akakufa na that side pande ya huko. Wa tatu mwezi uliopita juzi amekuja na pikipiki. Tena akagonga kichwa kwa lori. Tena ubongo tena ndio hiyo tena tumezika tena yeye. Sasa huyu ni mtu wa 5.
To West Pokot now, where one person has been killed and another one seriously injured at Cheptulel, that's along the West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet counties. The governor of West Pokot blames the attack on the disarmament of the National Police Reservists.
Residents of Cheptulel along the border of West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet counties are on the run. Their homes have become uninhabitable following frequent attacks. An unknown number of armed bandits struck last evening, shot discriminately and killed one person. Another has been left critically injured.
Upande ya Pokot, kuna watu sahi wako Eldoret Referral Hospital. Wamepigwa na bunduki. Na sahi sasa wako wanapata matibabu Eldoret. Chesegon watu wamewawa. Na hivi bunduki yote upande ya Kamalekon, hata watu wanaishi mashule imefungwa, watu wanaishi msituni.
The two victims were on a motorcycle heading to Chesegon from Lomut Trading Center when they were ambushed. Residents say they could not establish the number of assailants as they sprayed bullets while hiding in the thicket. The incident occurred 200 meters from the anti-stock theft camp.
Mturuhusu sasa kama Pokot sisi tujihami na tujilinde wenyewe. Kwa sababu sasa ni hasara sasa kila mara tunapoteza watu.
Area leaders blame the incident on the disarmament of the National Police reservists. They say bandit attacks have increased in the area since the national government began its disarmament operation.
Ni juzi tu wamechukua bunduki za KPRs na maajabu wenye wameuliwa leo wameuliwa na bunduki ambazo tunataka serikali wa explain ni bunduki gani.
Tunataka kuuliza president warudishe mambo ya KPR haraka iwezekanavyo, ama hatua ichukuliwe yenye wajambasi wenye wametoka Marakwet wajue inji hii sio ya bandits na sio ya lawlessness, kuna peace and order na kuna sheria lazima ifuatwe.
Police officers responded and repulsed the bandits who disappeared back in the bushes. The injured person, John Lokoyel, is receiving treatment at Kapenguria Referral Hospital, while the body of Lotuma Kilimo was taken to the same hospital mortuary. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
Right, let's talk education now. And 1,357 Form 3 students from across the country are today sitting for a national qualifying test in Nairobi with the hope of featuring in the InterSwitch Spark Kenya National TV Quiz Show. Now, the test will help determine the best 54 students in STEM. And STEM is science, technology, and engineering, and of course, mathematics is in there too. The selected students will then proceed to the quiz round, and the TV show will determine the top 9 STEM students in the country who will then proceed to the finals. The test will cover 4 subjects, that's math, physics, chemistry, and biology. There are about 40 test stations spread across the country, and the winner of the national competition will receive a scholarship worth 2.5 million shillings and a laptop. The first and second runner-up will receive 750,000 and 150,000 respectively, plus a laptop on top of it. Right, it was a fun-filled weekend for NTV viewers in the Mount Kenya region as NTV roadshow toured the region. Loyal viewers and Daily Nation readers from the region were rewarded with various gifts as they interacted with various national media group products. Melita Oletenges reports.
The 3-day roadshow traversed Embu, Meru, Isiolo and Laikipia counties, giving residents a chance to interact with their favorite comedians.
Kuna watu wengine sasa kama wa nyumbani wanadhani tu watu kama wenye wanakuwa kwa TV hawatokangi. Unajua unaona mtu lakini ukimwona live unaona yenyewe mtu ni mtu wa kawaida. So pia wewe unaona unaweza make it.
Daily Nation ni gazeti ya kitaifa. Na sasa ile unaisoma unaelewa vile Kenya imeendelea. Umeelewa ile corruption inafanyika.
The roadshow done in collaboration with London distillers started off in Embu, Chuka and Chogoria before pitching tent in Kobo, Meru and Maua. On the third day, the team toured Isiolo, Timau and Nanyuki. Residents were treated to music, dance and comedy by TV stars DJ Shiti and Awiti of The Real Househelps of Kawangware and comedian Joroge of the famed TV show Antibos.
This is the best roadshow ever. Now we like watch NTV because we are turning your world. Your favorite channel by force by fire.
Wanasema wanaamuka na gazeti ambao ni Daily Nation, alafu wanaenda direct to NTV kwa sababu hapa pia wanaweza watch the only station in Kenya ambao una watch and win.
NTV viewers received free merchandise including t-shirts and shopping vouchers, with one lucky viewer walking away with a television set. Boda Boda riders received reflector jackets to promote safety on the roads.
Tunapenda NTV juu ndiye naongeanga the truth.
Na vipindi zake ukizai na vipindi zake hata kama uko na stress unakuwa stress zinaisha.
The roadshow is a show of commitment by the Nation Media Group to its viewers and readers as the company celebrates 60 years in the media industry. Milita Oletenges, NTV.
And that team is coming to a town near you or your town. Time now for sports. Ida Waringa will be here next.
The Shindana Stars promotion. A grand prize of Kenya shillings 1 million to be won.
And Kenya Defence Forces and Kenya Prisons are the men and women champions of the 2019 Amaco International Volleyball Tournament after crushing their opponents in the finals held at Eldoret Polytechnic. Gabriel Kudaka followed the games and has the details.
New champions were crowned in the 13th edition of the Amaco International Volleyball. These after men's defending champions GSU crashed out in the semi-finals, with the same fate befalling women's defending champions Kenya Pipeline. It wasn't until the 5th set in the final pitting KDF and Kenya Prisons that the soldiers ensured the title went to their barracks after an 8-year wait with a 3-2 sets win. GSU were disarmed by their fellow servicemen Kenya Prisons in straight sets in the semis, while KDF beat Sports S from Uganda 3-0.
Mwisho tukichukua hii Amaco tournament ilikuwa 2011. Mpaka wa sasa hatukuwa tumechukua. Mpaka wa sasa hatukuwa tumepata ushindi, lakini sasa tunashukuru Mungu hii ushindi ya leo kwa sababu ametupa. Hii championship ya Eldoret tulikuwa prepared na vijana wangu walikuwa tayari.
In the women's category, Kenya Prisons crushed the defending champions Kenya Pipeline 3-1 of 25-20, 19-25, 26-24 and 25-13. Kenya Prisons had eliminated KCB 3-2, while Pipeline crushed Bongoma in straight sets.
The mood in the camp was high. The guys were in high spirits, despite the not being the national team. They played well.
Individual awards were largely dominated by Kenya Prisons in women as Shireen Jepkemoi, Pamela Masaisi and Praxidis Agala got fitted. Evans Makuto of Prisons won Best Attacker as Dickens Otim from Sports S Uganda won Best Blocker in the main category. Earlier, the two teams from USA, Salt Factory and Baylor, pulled out of the championships due to travel logistical challenges. KDF and Prisons pocketed 200,000 Kenya shillings each, while runners-up in both categories bagged 150,000 shillings. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV Sports.
Some football now. In Zamalek SC of Egypt are CAF Confederations Cup champions after beating Morocco's RS Berkane on post-match penalties in the final played in Egypt. The Egyptians edged the Moroccans 1-0 in the second leg to leave the teams tied 1-1 on aggregate. And with no extra time in CAF club matches, the final went to a shootout in Zamalek. We'll see you then. Enjoy your viewing. It's back to Ken.
Right, thanks very much, Aiden. Thanks everyone. And of course, we'll have another update at 4 p.m. in Swahili. But for now, I'm Ken Mijungu. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
أشهد أن لا